Wednesday. And they already got the poppers out.
Wednesday. I stare out the window as we roll down the dusty streets of Eka. Every road, every corner, every trailer, and every tree has a memory attached to it. There in the middle of the dusty parking lot dusty parking lot that belonged to the corner market is a tiny stand. That used to be where I'd get ice cream after begging for $1 from my parents. It's crumpled and boarded up now, the paint peeling off the paint peeling off in tiny chips. And there in front of Duke's house is a big flat rock that Jenna was standing on when she told me she was going to run away from home. I can still remember almost exactly how she was silhouetted against the red sunset behind her. And the old train yard where, in the middle of summer, Leo kissed me for the first time while I was sweating buckets under the noon sun. He didn't seem to care, though. I look over at Leo. He's got one hand on the wheel, glancing up at the rearview mirror occasionally to trade jabs with Flynn.
I'm regretting not letting him know we're coming. You know, you'll be lucky if he even gets his ass out of bed. We'll call him then. And what if he doesn't answer?
Leo doesn't say anything, instead focusing back on the road. TJ fills the silence after a while.
Well, I don't think it's too weird. It's just like we're hanging out again. Nothing wrong with that.
Sure, but making about Carl is just weird. Maybe if his birthday was like next week. 2 weeks tops.
Oh, hush, Finn. It'll just be like we're hanging out. Your acting weird about it isn't going to help anything.
The car starts slowing down, and I snap out of my daydreaming to look up, knowing that we definitely weren't at Carl's house yet. That's when I see a round canine figure standing further up on the side of the road. She's standing in the dirt that separates the road and the field in front of the broken and rusted barbed wire fence.
I think that's Johnny's.
I look over at Leo, and he seems concerned, his brows furrowed as he carefully steers the car right up next to the coyote. I can see why. She's crouched over, elbows at her knees, staring at the ground.
Roll down your window, Chas.
I do as he says, struggling a little bit with the old crank handle.
The hell is she doing out here?
We come to stop next to the coyote, kicking up some dust.
I don't know. Hey!
Leo leans over me and smiles out at Janice, who's still looking at the ground.
Everything all...
Leo's voice cuts off in a weird choking sound. I look at him, confused, then look back out the window, and I can't help myself, but I gasp. It was hard to tell from the angle and all the dust kicked up by the van, but now I can see that Janice has her pants down around her thighs. I can also see everything else. I sit back quickly and avert my eyes, looking out the windshield instead.
What the fuck?
Oh my god. Leo, keep going.
Jenna whispers. Jenna whispers it, her voice strained.
Sorry,
Leo stops talking, and I chance a glance out at the window again. Janice is looking at us now, and she's smiling. It's a weird smile because it isn't touching her eyes. It's unnerving. Leo stares back.
Leo, let's just go.
I hiss out the side of my mouth, staring out the windshield again. He seems reluctant to, though, looking concerned.
Jonas, do you need some help?
His tone is one you might use on a toddler or a crazy person. I don't hear her say anything except maybe a grunt. Leo bravely keeps trying, though.
We can give you a ride.
Leo stops talking in time for me to hear the pattering sound. A sound I recognize well from my time as a kid pissing in the dirt on the roads of Echo. The van lurches forward, then resumes a smoother acceleration back onto the empty road.
Holy shit! What the fuck was that? I don't.
Leo's frowning, looking as confused as I've ever seen him.
Should I go back?
I look back and see TJ covering his face.
Maybe she could be having some kind of psychotic episode.
That doesn't mean you let her into your damn car.
Or maybe she just had to piss. I don't think so. Did you see the way she looked at me?
With those hungry eyes. She was probably just on something, isn't everyone?
No, she doesn't do stuff like that.
How do you know, Leo?
Ouch.
Well, maybe she does. You never know with people. I hate how I keep guessing, trying to do an ad lib, and then it's just literally what the next line is.
Again, Leo doesn't say anything, and neither does anyone else. We don't go back.
I fucking told you.
Leo stabs the doorbell again, frustration etched across his face. I shift the bag I'm carrying around in my paws, trying to look through the frosted glass on the sides of the door.
Maybe he's getting high on life.
He should still be able to hear.
Jeremy gave him the good stuff. He can.
He can hear, he just chooses not to. Selective hearing.
He's just too high to move. I mean, maybe he just doesn't want to.
He's got the steel blanket going. TJ holds up his phone. He's
not answering his phone either.
Leo knocks on the door hard, his bicep bulging.
Well, I guess breaking the door might get us inside.
Leo stands back, his paws on his waist as he takes a deep breath. He's determined. And I guess he should be, considering he set all this up.
We should have just told him to meet us at the diner or something. Do they lock their windows?
Great plan. Great idea. No flaws. No notes. What?
Leo growls.
It's not like we're breaking in.
TJ's ears pin back, a frown on his face. The wolf puts a paw on his forehead, closing his eyes.
Sorry, but I think he's just asleep, and it shouldn't be too hard to just get in there and wake him up.
I look over at the side of the house and see a window well. I point to it.
Yeah. Notice how no one's asking Flynn for his opinion or help. Just a note, you know. Okay. What about that?
Too small.
I could
probably fit.
She hops off the front porch and crouches down next to the window, pushing at it.
Wait, there's a security sticker here.
Well, you gotta arm it first, and Carl is such a lazy ass, I know he didn't. Besides, if we set it off, we can just run. It's not like they'll show up anytime soon.
Or, instead of acting like criminals, we can just stay until the cop shows up. She knows us.
Jenna hesitates, then pushes at the window again, but it doesn't bulge.
Locked.
Let's try the one above it.
That's too high.
I'll boost you up.
I think this is going a little too far.
Leo ignores him and stands next to the window before making a platform for Jenna's foot with his paws. Steadying herself with her paws against the wall of the house, Leo easily lifts Jenna as she manages to grab the ledge.
Fucking hell. This is so fucking stupid.
Flynn mutters next to me, but I make a point of not looking over at him. I feel for Leo. He worked hard to make this happen, and everyone is giving him a hard time over it.
Especially Flynn.
Jenna pushes against the window and it glides open easily.
Yes. Now, I'm gonna boost you all the way up. Hold on.
Careful!
Like there's some kind of cheerleading duo. Leah shoves Jenna all the way up with one paw and she disappears through the window. Her bush tail is the last thing we see until she pokes her head back through.
Kitchen! I fell in the sink.
Great.
Good thing her foot didn't go in the garbage disposal.
Right?
No! Unlock the door!
A ghost turns it on.
And the ghost James Hendricks just goes like, "Oh, just do yet, John."
Thanks, John. You're trying to kill your descendants here.
She disappears again, and we make our way back to the front door.
She disappears, and all of a sudden from the house, boo, 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 boo.
You hear gunshots. You're like, oh no.
Yeah, Carl was just waiting with his gun. It's like, behold the Second Amendment.
You just hear Jenna yell, "Put that away! No one wants to see that."
Oh God. Water gun.
It's a type of water gun.
Right. The fleshiest type.
Flynn.
I just imagine her kicking him in the nuts if he did that.
Right.
Leo,
Have Flynn go for it.
Leo, you're fucking crazy. If you don't shut your fucking mouth, Flynn, I'll kick you right in your vagina. Sound good? Jesus, calm your...
Leo turns on him, one foot in front of the other. Flynn shuts up. Then, me and TJ are left to shift around uncomfortably on the porch. Finally, we hear the door rattling and it opens.
Called his name, but he didn't answer.
Well, he's gotta be here. It's not like he can go anywhere. Or would want to.
Carl's house is as massive and immaculate as I remember it. It's a mansion, after all. There are a few bowls and wrappers laying around on the marble counters. I assume that's because Carl's parents aren't here to tell him not to be a slob. Flynn immediately heads up the stairs.
Yo, Carl!
I set the big bag down on the table, and TJ sets the cake there too. I look over at him.
You all right? Yeah, why? Just asking. I mean, how's like your hike with Jenna? All right. I wish you were there, Chase, because you're just such a dreamboat. Yeah, me too. I might go again in a day or two if you like, because I'm a hiking machine. Sure, why not?
He's got the body for hiking. Like, thin people make good hikers.
It's the power of the twink.
Yeah, pretty much. That and they overheat, despite having no fat on their bodies.
Yeah.
I promised myself that wasn't an empty promise.
Well, he's not in his room.
Flynn's actually looking a little worried now.
Maybe he went for a walk?
Carl, walking in this weather? In any weather? Hell no.
In any weather?
Well, as long as it's not Carl Weathers.
Walk the Carl Weathers.
Does he have any other friends? Maybe he went out somewhere?
I don't think so. Well, let's do a quick sweep of the house. It's a big place.
Flynn heads back upstairs, and Leo heads for the downstairs with Jenna. TJ looks around the kitchen, then moves over to the living room, checking the couches. I decide to head out back, if not just to get away from the others, since things feel usually tense between us today. As I step out into the backyard, I'm a little surprised. It's different from when I was last here. The playset is gone, and so is the massive trampoline they used to have. The biggest shock, though, is seeing that the huge tree house that used to sit in the old oak tree is gone. I stand there for a moment, feeling a vague sense of loss. I have too many good memories of that place. Time moves too fucking fast. After a while, I remember why I'm here and look around again. No Carl, of course. I start walking around anyway, looking behind bushes, even though I know it's stupid. While I felt for Leo, I could still see Flynn. I could still see where Flynn was coming from. It would have been way better idea to warn Carl or just meet up somewhere else. Leo just gets carried away a little when he has his heart set on something. He probably had the whole scene planned out in his head before he even got here. Mostly, I feel really bad for him. He's been working really hard to make this trip interesting for all of us. I think it's our fault more than anything that nothing's working out. Flynn's a dick. Carl doesn't care. Jin is also kind of a dick. And TJ is always into stuff that none of us are. And I'm just so...
Like the Bible.
And I'm just boring. As I round the corner of the house, I'm surprised to see Flynn standing there. Must have come out the front door.
Oh, hey, Flynn. I thought you went upstairs.
Flynn doesn't seem surprised at all to find me out here, which makes me think he was looking for me.
I did. Wasn't there, so I thought I'd look outside.
Oh, well, he's not in the back, so...
I don't know why, but Flynn is making me feel awkward as hell.
Is something wrong?
Flynn folds his arms and leans up against the house.
Well, Carl's missing, so I guess that's a problem, huh?
Yeah?
I try to think of something to say.
Well, I'm sure he's just hiding somewhere. Or maybe he's out at the diner. He probably just got tired of being stuck in his own house.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm his secret boyfriend. I know he's not going anywhere. He better not be seeing other Gilas.
The other family Moors. I'll fucking kill them.
He straightens up again and steps forward, and I don't know why, but I take a step back.
You were hanging out with Leo yesterday, right?
Yeah, for a little while. I only mostly slept all night in his arms as he caressed me and held me.
Well, that answers this question. You spent the night there.
I pause for a second to give him a hint. Give him the hint that I'm not exactly okay with him prying like this, but I answer anyway.
No, I got back to the motel like 3.
Huh.
AM. Yeah!
I start to turn back around.
Hey, why don't we check the basement?
Chase.
He's got the same tone as a disappointed father, and that kind of pisses me off. I turn back around.
What?
You realize what you're doing is stupid, right?
Excuse me?
Getting back with him during your fucking spring break. Pretty stupid, right?
I had a feeling that's where this was going, and now I know for sure I'm definitely pissed off now.
How is that any of your beeswax?
How is it not? You two seem pretty okay with making it our business, right?
Ah, stupid Otto. Oh, no?
He sneers at me.
Cuddling up at the lake, where our friend died, is pretty messed up, isn't it?
What?
I saw you two. You know I did.
So what? What does that have to do with Sydney?
I guess I just find it weird that you'd start up your old flame on what's practically a grave.
What the hell are you talking about?
Feelings change from anger to bewilderment. I did know what he was talking about, it just didn't know why.
Well, since it's all out in the open now, why not talk about it?
You're the one that put it out in the open. In the worst possible way, in the worst way possible, by the way.
His sneer disappears.
I just don't get why you're connecting those two things. We weren't even talking about Sydney.
How? What else does the lake make you think of?
I'm at a loss for words, totally confused. This is Flynn. I never talked about Sydney with him after it happened. I was too scared.
Well, I don't think of it as grave or anything.
Oh, really? It's just a fucking lake to you then? Huh?
He didn't die there, Flynn. It was at the hospital.
It might as well have been there, right?
I swallow hard, wanting desperately to get back inside.
That just... If we didn't have the context, that just sounds dirty. Let's not talk about this right now.
Oh, I guess I was confused. Everyone's been telling me that I need to talk about it.
Well, not like this. Not with just me. We should all be together if we want to have this talk.
I turn around again, making it clear that I'm leaving.
Wait.
Change of tone in his voice makes me turn around again. It's softer, almost pleading. Not used to hearing Flynn talk like this.
I'm just trying to look out for you, Chase. He's not.
I feel some anger that's returning.
He's not what?
Well, he's not exactly a stable guy, is he?
I laugh.
And you are?
He dips his head, and I can tell that he's embarrassed, even though he doesn't have the ears to tell me so.
And not just you, all of us. We're all a little fucking crazy, aren't we?
Flynn
Says the guy with
smiles.
schizophrenia.
Yeah. Flynn smiles a little bit.
Well, that's what happens when you live in Echo.
That's what all the kids at school say.
Flynn frowns again.
Listen, I'm just looking out for you. He's just...
He left me too, Chase.
Oh, we were so close.
I sighed loudly and covered my face with the paw for a second. I was hoping I'd been able to change the subject, but now we're back to Leo. Surprised when I lower my paw and Flynn is just a few feet away.
Flynn, just drop it. It's none of your business.
His gaze hardens.
I think it is when I see a friend taking advantage of another friend.
Taking advantage of me?
Yeah. Has been since you were fucking 15.
I immediately know what he's implying.
Fuck off. You're acting like my fucking parent.
He takes another step forward and I back away, but he angles it so I'm pressed up against the house. I get the urge to run away, but I feel like doing that will only affirm how much this has escalated. There's a change in him as well, something unfamiliar in his eyes, his stance, and his voice even. He leans down to my height.
Like playing with fire, huh? You've seen it in his eyes. He's fucking crazy.
He pokes me in the chest to emphasize his words.
Crazy, kind of like how you are right now.
Flynn pulls away, straightening his back, but still looking down at me.
Yeah? Well, maybe I am.
The awkward silence stretches out, seems to go on until...
You know what? I think... Joss.
Both of our muzzles flick in the direction of Leo's voice. Mine to the right, Flynn's to his left. Leo stands there, ears perked forward, though his expression seems neutral. I wonder how long he's been standing there. I can tell Flynn's wondering the same thing.
Any sign of him?
No.
I slide out from under Flynn, making my way towards Leo.
I checked the back, but I didn't see him anywhere.
Leo doesn't even look at me, staring over the top of my head. I look and see Flynn staring right back, his shoulders still tensed. That's when I feel Leo's heavy, strong arm drape over my shoulders. Flynn's eyes narrow.
Let's get back inside, Lee.
As Leo leads me away, I get the feeling that he's still staring Flynn down, even though I don't look up to check.
I'm getting worried.
No shit. Carl doesn't just disappear from his house like this. He doesn't have anywhere to go.
Calm down. He could be anywhere. He has more friends than just us.
Hopefully the meth gang didn't kidnap him.
The fact that he isn't answering his phone is kind of fucking suspicious.
Leo holds up his paws.
You know he forgets to charge his phone sometimes.
Flynn's getting more and more frustrated, starting to pace around the living room.
He never goes out with other friends. That's the problem. Listen, maybe we should just wait. You all can wait here. I'm gonna find him.
Flynn makes the door, and before anyone can say anything, it's slamming shut behind him. We sit in silence for a while, staring at the door that Flynn just took off through. Leo lets his breath out in a long sigh, rubbing his face.
All right, let's think. Where else does Carl have to go?
The comic book shop?
Leo looks at me for a second.
Maybe if someone else gave him a ride. But, like Flynn said, he doesn't have anyone else to do that for him.
Well, if you guys are going to do that, then I'll probably stay here in case he comes back.
Yeah, and we can keep looking.
Sounds good.
Leo pulls his keys out of his pocket and then looks back at me.
Coming with me, Jess?
Yeah.
I follow Leo out the door, actually starting to feel worried about Carl. We walk around the mall for about an hour, checking the food court and every shop we pass. It's clear that this idea was pretty hopeless from the beginning. Jenna lets us know that Carl hasn't shown up at the house either, and that they're heading back to the motel. Finally, Leo and I call it quits and head back to his house before walking to the diner for dinner.
Dinner for diner.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tongue twister.
Say that 5 times.
So where do you think he went? Was he kidnapped by the meth gang again?
Leo's hunched over, an elbow on the table, and his chin in his paws, staring out the window.
Don't know.
Do you think we should call someone?
Like the cops? Not yet. He's an adult, so they won't really look into it until it's been days.
Actually, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people who are watching this, if you believe that somebody is missing and you cannot find them or get in contact with them in any way, you should let the police know immediately. It is a myth that you have to wait.
Because
It is a myth that you have to wait 72 hours.
which is funny because they actually do that immediately in another route.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually gathered.
Yeah.
We should
All right,
probably
Leo.
call his parents, though, if he doesn't show up by tonight.
I don't say anything, stirring my milkshake around. I glance back over the kitchen area, watching a very tired-looking Janice gather up plates before taking them to the back. I was pretty much mortified when I realized she was here and about to take our order. Mostly just because I was embarrassed for her. She didn't really say anything, though. Just took our order and left. I examined my milkshake closely for what I'm not sure. I examined my milkshake closely, though, for what I'm not sure.
Man, it's particles.
Mm-hmm.
Janice particles.
Crazy,
Yep.
crazy rays that got into the milk.
Yeah, Janice's milkshakes are bringing the boys to the yard, isn't it?
I'm not too worried, though. He's been under a lot of stress and probably just wanted to leave town for a while.
But who would he do that with, and why couldn't he tell us?
Leo sips on his milkshake, and I wait for him to finish.
I guess things really have changed.
Yeah.
I rest my chin on my palm, meeting his eyes so he knows I'm listening.
I mean, the way Flynn was acting all day. He really can't stand us anymore. Carl probably just feels the same way.
I don't think so. Flynn usually been that way, right?
Not like that. Like the way he was talking to you earlier.
So, he did hear.
Guess you were right. I should have just left shit alone. We all used to fit together so well. But now we've all changed. And it's like we're bending ourselves to fit again.
I guess that's just life, right?
Leo grunts and keeps staring at the window. It's clear how much he wanted this all to work out, to give us the opportunity for one last hurrah before we separated for good. And now I'm actually pretty angry at myself and the others. This is our last chance to really say our goodbyes, and it's like we don't care at all. Jen and TJ are off doing their own thing. Carl's getting lost and probably high. And Flynn's being Flynn. I lean forward, then, grinning.
I'm really happy you planned all this.
Slowly, Leo shifts his attention from the sunset to my face. I smile widely for him.
This is the most fun I've had all year, even though everyone's acting like a dick. And not the good way.
I dip my head self-consciously.
Including me. I know. This whole thing has reminded me about a lot of good things that's happened in this town. And even though I've been kind of shitty, I think it's a good note to leave off on.
Leo raises his brows.
Because weren't things always shitty? It's part of the experience.
Leo stares at me for a long time, and I feel my grin starting to fade. But then he reaches forward and rubs a thumb up my nose. I blink in surprise, and he shows me a smear of white on his thumb pad.
Sorry. It was hard to take you seriously looking like a cokehead.
He grins and licks his thumb. All that snot. Disgusting.
Jorah.
Cheers.
It was just marinated in Jorah.
Just marinated in mucus. I know it's nasty. I blush and grab a napkin to wipe my face, but Leo rests a paw on my arm.
But seriously, thanks. For trying, at least.
Leo looks like he's about to say something else, hesitates, and opens his muzzle again.
So,
Cutie.
You!
I think this is Clint. Did you want to try?
That was my track. You!
Alright, go for it.
Yeah, go for it.
Leo and I look up to find a lanky, patchy, ugly, ring-tailed cat staring down at us with beady black eyes.
I don't know if you knew, there's a lot of other people in here trying to enjoy their meal.
Clint puts a paw down on the edge of the table, leaning in.
Could you try not to ruin it for us?
He grins at me, showing me how many teeth he's missing. Guess he graduated from huffing paint since last time I saw him.
The hell do you think you're doing? Here, Case, didn't you bump his fat ass? Because
I
I'm
grimace.
homophobic, but I still keep apprised of all relationships with the gays.
I grimace. I can't tell if he's joking or not, but if he's still the same asshole that I remember him as, I haven't talked to him in years.
No, it looks like you dumped your own ass, Clint. What happened to you?
I can see Clint's brain work as he digests what I said, deciphering whether or not he should be offended. I can also see his tail twitching behind him, and it's patchy too, leaving some parts of it bald, like a rat's tail.
Actually, Clint, you're right. We're all trying to eat, but there's a smelly, ugly, ring-tailed skeleton ruining it for us.
Clint flicks his attention from me to Leo, who smiles sweetly at him.
Mind doing us all a favor and getting the fuck out?
Clint leans in low to the table, putting his face next to Leo's. Leo keeps a straight face, and I'm impressed because I can smell the stench of Clint's breath even from here.
Think you're funny? Bad word.
Beasler, I guess.
Oh,
Yes,
there's a worse one coming.
Yeah.
It's other bad word. If you're trying
S-slur,
Isler. If you're trying
so
to
we don't get demonetized.
right, if you're trying to make me mad, you might as well do it right, eh?
Leo takes a sip from his milkshake nonchalantly, while Clint gapes at him. His brain, which I imagine is Swiss cheese at this point, tries to come up with some kind of retort.
No, go fuck your tail.
Yeah. Well, I thought you would do the same, but you've got a sister at home, don't you?
Clint moves
That's
fast.
a pretty good one.
That's very nasty.
Yeah. Clint moves fast, swinging a fist up and down towards Leo's jaw. Leo's ready for him and lunges to the side, though the fist still glances at the side of his face. He grabs Clint's arm and yanks him down into the table, which knocks over my milkshake, sends it splashing into my lap. I gasp and stand up and move to the side of the table while Leo starts to rub Clint's face in the mess, smashing into the table a few times.
Stop it! Well, hold on. Stop it!
I jump as Janice shouts right next to me. Leo hears her too and turns around while still holding Clint down. The deadlock is still in her eye. The dead look is still in her eyes, and the fur on her face is matted, like she's been crying a lot but hadn't washed since.
I am not going to deal with this today, Leo. You know Clint started it.
Leo's ears are flat as he looks back at Janice, clearly thrown off. Underneath him, Clint snarls and thrashes.
Am I gonna have to get the taser from the back?
Slowly, Leo backs off of Clint, who immediately shoves himself off the table. I can see Leo prepare himself in case Clint takes another swing, but he doesn't even look at him. His already dirty tank top smeared brown from the milkshake. He stumbles to the door and disappears outside.
And clean up that mess before you leave.
With that, the old coyote turns and stalks off to the back. She leaves me and Leo to stare at each other before we ruefully wipe up the spilled milkshake with brown napkins. There are only two other patrons in the diner with us, a skunk and a jackrabbit. But I can feel their eyes on us the whole time. It only adds to the embarrassment.
What do you think her problem is?
I ask Leo under my breath as we come back from tossing the ball of wet napkins in the trash can.
I love it how they tell you how the line's supposed to be read after the line.
Yeah, that's...
You know.
You have to go forward.
Really makes it
and
easier
back.
to read.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He just shrugs, though, and I follow him quietly out of the diner into the late afternoon light outside. We walk in silence for a while, with me walking awkwardly because my soaked and sticky pants are incredibly uncomfortable on my thighs. We stop at the motel where I change and shower before grabbing a fresh change of clothes. Then we start back out
twice.
again.
Wow.
Yeah.
And here I thought like he just got dressed like Sailor Moon.
Mm-hmm. You know, he just holds up his magic wand, turns it on to vibrate, and then, he just transforms. It's all magic. I think about staying behind in the motel, but I feel like that would be a dick move after what Leo has been through today. As we walk back, Leo takes a detour, stopping at a convenience store. The fight has made things a little awkward between us, so I just shove my paws into my pockets and follow Leo. We go to the back where he grabs a 12-pack. He doesn't say anything to me either as he makes his way to the front to pay. Finally, when we're back outside, he nudges me in the direction of in the direction behind the convenience store.
Let's see it.
I lead the way because we've both done this a dozen times before. We step off the asphalt and down a little ways into the brush where Leo pulls me up onto a boulder. Leo sighs, pulling out the first bottle of beer. Leaning
Yeah, I
back,
guess they don't card in this universe if they've done this years before.
I
Because
mean,
Chase is 21 and he was gone for 3 years.
yeah, they probably just don't care. It's a small town.
Yeah.
Small town rules are very different from like medium and big town rules.
I wish they had these kind of small town rules in my small town.
Yeah, this is a different time.
Yeah, it's 2015. It was
Yeah.
back before the darkness began.
Mm-hmm. Leaning
We were
back.
still in hope and change mode.
Mm-hmm. Leaning back, he pulls out his keys to use the bottle opener on his keychain before handing it over to me. He does the same for himself, then practically chugs the whole thing before grabbing another, even before I'm able to take my first swig. I don't comment on it, and instead look out at the sunset, thinking about how nice it would be to just sort of run off into the wilderness. At least for a little while. I lean back and sigh, noticing a white and brown splotch on the knee of Leo's jeans. What you said to Clint? Ah, Chase, go for it.
What you said to Clint, that was pretty mean. Funny, but mean.
He said some pretty mean stuff too. And it's not like I said that shit to him. It's not like I like saying that shit to him.
Seeing me lying on my back, Leo shifts closer to me, allowing me to rest my head against his thigh. Again, the familiar position probably isn't a good idea, but I just don't care.
So does Clint still live with his dad?
No, he went to prison 2 years ago.
Really? Because of
Yeah.
shit.
We sit in silence, enjoying our quiet surroundings. As I lit,
I do wonder what he went to prison for. Was it the
Wait.
meth?
We
Yeah,
learn
I mean-
later on it's something to do with his daughter.
Uh.
Things he should not have been doing. P-wording?
How terrible.
Yeah, really bad.
As I lay there, I hear Leo open another bottle, then another. Finally lets out a big sigh.
Big sigh or big burp?
A little column A, a little column B.
It's a big sigh, but, it's probably some belch in there.
Chas, come back to Echo.
I close my eyes, turning my vision blood red against the sunset.
Maybe. Just not yet.
He doesn't press the issue, instead reaching out for another bottle. By the time I get to my second one, the rest are gone. As we walk back to Leo's house in silence, he occasionally brushes his tail up against my own. I let him. He's mildly drunk, so he's sort of excused for now.
Wait, 10 beers in a sitting and he only gets mildly drunk?
Some people
have super liver? Jesus.
some people have really high tolerances, so he probably he's probably a raging alcoholic.
By now, yeah. Probably.
I do have to push his muzzle away when he leans up against me for some support after his feet hit a sudden dip in the road. I'm busy trying to steady him when I hear footsteps pounding up behind us. Before I know it, Leo's shoved me hard to the side and I go stumbling into the weeds. Whirling around, I see a dark figure running off to the side from Leo. His attack aborted as he saw the wolf had seen him. He comes back around and I immediately see that it's Clint. He's got a crowbar in one paw. My stomach drops as I look from him to Leo, who's got a giant smile on his face. Like this is exactly what he wanted to happen.
The hell?
Come back for more, Clint?
Clint doesn't say anything. Instead, he just screams and runs at Leo again. Usually, I wouldn't be worried about Leo in a fight with Clint, but the crowbar and the fact that Leo can barely stand has me really worried. Leo backpedals, then ducks low and lunges forward, which I don't think Clint expects. His
Leo's
grunt
just a
is.
master of drunken fist.
Mm-hmm. His
Yeah, he's
grunt.
just gonna bust out all his kung fu now.
Oh yeah. His grunt is guttural, but to my surprise, he doesn't go down. Instead, he grips the back of Leo's shirt before raising the crowbar and bringing it down to Leo's back with a solid, meaty thud. I gasp and cringe and start to jog towards them. Clint presses forward and Leo trips over something, landing on his butt. Clint raises the crowbar again and Leo raises a paw. For about 2 seconds, they play a game. They play a game with Leo moving his paws around above his head, anticipating the swing. Clint, meanwhile, keeps trying to re-angle the crowbar so that Leo will miss. He doesn't get a chance, though, because that's when I reach them. I'm not exactly a good fighter, considering I've never been in a fight before, but the idea of Leo getting his face beaten in with a crowbar provides me with the terror that spurs me on. I jump onto his back, grab a handful of fur on his forehead, and yank back as hard as I can. I guess I should have hit him or something, but it seems to work all right. His remaining teeth flash in the porch light, and I get a hot blast of his rancid breath as he snarls angrily. Suddenly, I'm sitting down on the asphalt, feeling like my forehead had just caved in. He must have somehow swung the crowbar back and hit me. I desperately rub at my head, imagining the skull shattered into a million pieces like an egg, but everything feels like it's in shape. The fight's still going on, and I can hear Leo snarling. It's not a sound that I've heard that often, but it's deep, way scarier than anything Flint could have managed. I try to focus on the spot that I see their bodies tangled together. When I do, I see that Flint's on top again, the crowbar raised, pointy end down, aimed at Leo's face. I start to crawl towards them, but there's no way I'm going to make it. Again, the sound of something hard striking flesh. This time it isn't Clint striking Leo. It's Clint that hisses in pain, this time as he arches backwards, his fangs baring his fangs. There's a dark shape behind him, but before I can focus on it, Leo's massive paw smashes into the side of Clint's face. Leo's not playing this time. In fact, it looks like he put everything he had into that punch, and the sound it makes is like a slab of beef being thrown against concrete. Flint's body visibly goes slack before he slumps down against Leo, only to be shoved roughly to the side. I crawl up next to the wolf, and he looks over at me as I do. His paw immediately goes to my head to steady it as he looks closer at my face.
Fuck. Did he hit you?
That's when I realize that I have a massive headache. It feels like it's full of water. I rub the spot that itches a bit right above my eyebrow. My pad comes away slightly dark and bloody.
That fucking piece of shit.
Leo sends a back fist into the side of the downed Clint's face. Hey, that's enough, Leo. That's when I remember that there was someone else that actually saved Leo. The voice is familiar, but it isn't until I look up at the source that I recognize Kudzu. He's breathing hard and he's holding the crowbar that Flint dropped. Dark spots around his eyes blend in with the night and are and accentuate how wide his actual eyes are. He looks spooked. What the hell are you guys doing out here? The hell are you guys doing? He sounds pissed off, and I feel a little defensive.
Hey, he tried to run up on us.
Gudzu's eyes flick over at me before focusing back onto Leo. I thought we had this shit figured out. Why the hell are you fighting again? I don't really get why this Kudzu guy is freaking out so much. His nostrils flare with each breath. You'd think he was the one that almost got his brains run through with a crowbar.
Calm the fuck down. You know how Clint is.
He wouldn't do half the crap he does if you didn't antagonize him so much. You say he was a bully, but from what I've seen, it's the reverse. It's hard to think of Leo as a bully, but the way he had acted towards Clint in the diner was a bit much, even if it was Clint.
Hey, if he can't take it, then maybe he shouldn't dish it, eh?
Leo grins and sticks out a paw to Kudzu, who glares, but nevertheless reaches down and helps him up. Leo promptly pulls me up with him. As I get to my feet, a wave of dizziness instantly hits me, and I stumble into Leo.
Fuck. See?
Leo steadies me, and looks into my eyes, worry etched all over his face.
There it is. My thing wasn't loading. All right, I'm fine. I just got dizzy for a sec.
That's not fine. Do you feel sick? Can you see straight?
No, I can only see gay. Seriously, I'm fine. Just give it a minute.
Chase is like, I can only see by.
Mm-hmm.
Bull chicker, going to kill that hick when he wakes up.
At that moment, Clint makes a snorting sound and starts to roll over. Leo's eyes flash to where he's laying, but Kudzu steps up between the two, still glaring. No. Get the fuck back home and take care of the otter. I'm going to see if I can keep him from trying to kill you later on down the road.
Bad chance. He's been wanting to kill me ever since middle school.
Clint starts to sit up, supporting himself with both paws as he looks around. Oh!
Whatever.
Leo turns back to me, and his eyes soften as he puts an arm around my shoulders.
Come on. We might need to go to the hospital.
I'm really.
The low tones of Kudzo's voice, murmuring to Clint, fades off as we stumble into the night.
No, you're not fine. He hits you fucking hard. God damn that fucking idiot. He could have killed you.
I put a paw back to the sore on my forehead and rub at it. Leo grabs my wrist.
Don't do that. You're infected. We'll clean it up back at my place. Swear to God. I'm not gonna leave my house without my gun again.
Suddenly, Leo's face takes on an odd look.
Oh.
Because, guns would have made that situation so much better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the rat would have been cut short with sounds of a jail cell. Oh.
In self-defense, he had a crowbar. That's a deadly weapon. So he would have shot him in the chest, 6, 7, 8, 10, 100 times.
I was going to say, no, you probably just do a good solid double tap right between the eyes.
Oh. One second.
He makes as if to steady me with both paws, then stumbles off to the side of the road. It's dark and I can't see him, but he sure as hell can hear a retch followed by a splash. This happens about 3 more times before Leo shakily but more steadily approaches me from the darkness, a sheepish grin on his face.
Again, he was only mildly drunk, you guys.
It's
You
only
know,
mildly drunk.
that was an accurate description earlier in the text.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just Chase has like a bad ability to read people.
Yeah.
So he thinks it's mild and it's not.
You okay?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just had a little too much.
Really? Because the Leo I knew could like do 15 cans and still walk. Why is this? Why are those mountains moving?
Hey,
The mountains are moving?
I think, uh, or they're like starting to spin again.
no.
But I'm fine. We just don't need hospital.
Hey,
What's
rolling.
a concussion? Oh.
If only Jenna were here, she could tell me what's going on with my cognition.
Jenna would show up and be like, nope, you're going to do what I'm telling you right now. We're going.
Why is everything red?
She just grabbed Leo and Chase by the ears and dragged them off to the hospital.
Right.
That's pretty much what she does in her route.
It's like, you're going with me.
I'm the responsible one here.
Right? She pretty much is. I'm the adult here. Hey, rolling
Flynn.
around with a crazy longtail sitting on you won't do your gut any favors.
Sure.
Leo chuckles and wraps an arm around me again, though this one feels more intimate, rather than just being there to keep me steady. We walk in silence for a while, just enjoying the evening air. The temperature is always perfect here when the sun's gone. Gets me more annoyed, though, because I imagine we'd be having a much better time if Clint hadn't just tried to murder us. At least that's what I imagine he was trying to do, since hitting somebody with a crowbar isn't exactly fucking around.
Has it really gotten like this bad between you and Clint?
Leo squeezes me.
It's always been this way.
It looked like he was trying to kill you.
Well, the gringo really hates me.
Leo laughs, then falls silent for a while, ears pinned back.
I guess he was angrier than usual. I think it's just that I might have pissed him off more than I usually do.
I look back at him.
No, he's just jealous. He's like, I want Otter.
Go get Dale.
About that, what you said to him at the diner was really awful.
You too? How can he expect not to get hit with that if he's going to go off on us about me being an hustler?
Leo barks out a laugh.
Talk shit.
Well, I mean, he is a dog.
Yeah. Talk shit, get hit. I always say.
I don't know, man. What his dad did different. It's not like his fault, you know?
Hey, he might be fucked up, but he can still make the decision to be a complete dick to everyone, can't he?
I wish Jenna were here to back me up with how that isn't exactly fair to Clint.
Anyway, I think he was on something. Did you see how crazy? He had crazy eyes.
He always. What happened?
He's like that one lady from, what was it? Not Restaurant Impossible, Kitchen Nightmares with Gordon Ramsay. There's like this one lady and her crazy husband, and like her eyes are always super wide open, and she's just looking directly at Gordon.
It's like psychotic stare.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you gotta fight crazy with more crazy.
She just looks nuts. All right, Leo, go for it.
He's always on something. And speaking of which.
Leo steps slow, and I look ahead to see an isolated house further up the road. The porch light is on, and I see a skinny figure get out of a chair and start walking up from the front yard. It's clear he means to intercept us, and I slow down with Leo as he draws closer.
Duke.
Leo nods at him.
Yep. Cliff's
Skinny
grandson looks
weasel.
just so good, right?
Mm-hmm. Totally. The skinny weasel looks us both up and down, raising up a paw to pull a drag from what looks like a cigar. I assume it's actually a blunt because it smells like Carl. He's as patchy and healthy looking as I remember him. Not as torn up as Flint, but still bad enough to know he's done his fair share of dabbling in meth. He doesn't say anything, and after a while, Leo clears his throat.
Isn't it nice? So who wants to...
He's here. As Duke cuts Leo off, he's staring right at me, so I assume it's me he's talking about.
Hi, Duke.
I probably couldn't have said anything more awkwardly. Leo steps forward, partially in front of me.
Did you need something?
Duke lets out a long stream of smoke towards us. Definitely a blunt. Some shit's been happening to me.
You didn't like my voice that much?
Oh, you can do it. You can do it. Go for it.
Some shit's been happening to me. After y'all told me about it.
Yeah, it's pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
He's an old crazy redneck.
Old crazy redneck.
But also
An old crazy redneck. All right,
well,
Leo.
he's still mad at that Cotton Eye Joe, because, you know, I mean, where did he come from?
I don't know.
Where did he go? I mean,
Where did he come from? Where did he go?
Without him, he would have been married a long time ago.
All right, Leo. Are you going to say your line?
It was just,
Leo looks at him, looking particularly puzzled, though I can see his tail twitching behind him.
You've been seeing shit, and now I've been seeing shit.
It's quiet for a few seconds. Then Leo laughs.
well, maybe lay off the drug cocktails.
But they go with my shrimp.
Go with my shrimp. My smoking shrimp, the kind I'm smoking on right now. Yep.
Oh, you better know. You better know it.
No, it's different. The shit I see, it's almost real. And I saw him.
He nods at me again, and for some reason, I'm starting to feel really uncomfortable. Leo laughs, and this time it's much more forced. He starts pushing me along further up the street.
Sorry, Duke, but just is taken. John is still single, though.
Duke follows us, walking along the dirt while we stay on the asphalt.
When did I get here?
Leo doesn't say anything and keeps pushing me along. I can see Duke getting angrier when I don't want another fight, so I finally butt in.
I got here Saturday? Is something wrong, Duke?
Duke doesn't answer. He just stops and watches us go. A frown stretched across his face. Keep on looking over my shoulder at him, but he doesn't move, and he doesn't take his eyes off us.
What the fuck?
Stop looking at him, Chels.
What was he talking about?
Does it matter? Just keep moving and hope we don't run into any more of these cycles.
I managed to not look back again, but I feel his eyes on the back of my neck the entire time.
That's how Chase doesn't turn into a pillar of salt.
Bible verse?
Oh yeah. Even though the instructions say only to take 2, Leon gives me 3 generic acetaminophen pills. That's Tylenol for those of you who don't know what acetaminophen is.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't think they could just say Tylenol.
Maybe.
It's probably just because it's a brand name or something.
Yeah.
Sort of like how ibuprofen is actually Motrin.
So you really don't want to say that and get like copyright hit?
I don't know.
Is that a brand name?
See, I always call it just ibuprofen.
Yeah.
It's drugs!
After that, he takes me to the bathroom and starts cleaning the cut on my forehead. I grimace against the sting of the rubbing alcohol.
Okay, this is how you know Leo's gay. Look how cute this bathroom is.
Mm-hmm.
For just a single man living out in the country alone, and his
Yeah,
bathroom still looks like that.
Well,
you walk in and it's just like, oh my goodness gracious, he's even got curtains. Look at those curtains.
We know. All we need is just to look in the toilet bowl and see how that's taken care of.
Oh yeah, if it's super clean, he's ultra gay.
we really.
Of course, he did know Chase was coming, so he might have just cleaned it up for that.
That is
That's
true. That is true. We really should take you to the ER. This might even need stitches.
I lean my head into his palms, because not having to hold it up myself feels good.
No, it's not that bad. Besides, even if it is a concussion, they'll send me home and tell me to get some rest. So I'll just go to sleep right now on your shoulder, Leo.
Because Chase has so much experience getting concussions.
Mm-hmm.
She actually does. If you read the prologue, along with a $500 bill, which I could use a $500 bill.
Me too.
Do they make those, or do they just give you like 5 Benjamin Franklins?
They tear a $1,000 bill in half and hand it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, true.
I played football, I know. But you never know how serious it could be.
I sigh and don't say anything, deciding it would be easier just to not argue. Leo starts to debate whether or not to shave the fur, but I finally get annoyed and tell him to get on with it. As he prods around, I can feel the area around the cut swelling, and I wonder if I'm going to get a black eye. Finally, Leo steps back and starts putting everything back into the first aid kit.
Wait.
Leo glances at me questioningly.
Are you hurt?
He thinks for a second.
I don't think so. I feel fine, I mean.
Turn around. Show me those kicks.
I'd seen Clint hit Leo with the crowbar, and he'd hit him hard. Leo sighs before finally turning around, placing his paws on the sink as he stares into the mirror. I look at his back, the black shirt dusty from the dirt that he rolled around in. Carefully, I lift the shirt up his back. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. I can see the raised fur from a growing welt where the crowbar had hit, though. There aren't any cuts there, but I do see some spots of dried blood.
You've got like a bunch of little cuts.
I see the smooth muscle underneath Leo's fur shift as he flexes them.
Hmm? Really? Must have been from the rocks in the road. I think my shirt came up a little while we were wrestling around.
Rocky Road.
Ice cream.
Give me the alcohol. I'm thirsty.
Leo sighs again but hands it over.
And take off your shirt. For
He's,
reasons.
he smirks at that and slowly, purposefully, sensually strips his shirt off. I tried to ignore him, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't turned on by his body. It's been a long time since I last saw him shirtless, and he's kind of changed. He's thicker, broader in the shoulders and chest, the muscles smoother and a little more filled out. I swallow and start to dab the alcohol into the cuts. He makes no indication of feeling any pain, instead swishing his tail around and flicking it up between my legs. Again, I don't know why, but Leo has a way of making you want to play along, even if you know it's a bad idea. He's been flirting with me this whole time, so I guess he's sort of broken down my defenses. Once I finish rubbing in the alcohol, I let a paw linger on his hip. We both stay like this for a while until Leo finally turns around, leaning back against the sink.
Oh my.
I look over his form, his broad chest down to his thick stomach.
Like what you'll see.
When I look back up at him, his brows are raised, and before I can say anything, he's leaning down. I think he's about to kiss me, so I turn my head to the side, but instead he just nuzzles the side of my head as he brings me in for a hug. I freeze for a second, but relax into his hold after a while, enjoying the feel of his warmth, of his warm fur against mine. He doesn't say anything, just holds me. I can feel his excitement, though. His pants are. I can feel his excitement through his pants as he presses into me and starts nibbling at my ear. I gasp as he catches it between his teeth, and I almost moan. He, of course, knows I have sensitive ears. He moans a little in response, and before I know it, he's pulling me up against him. Then he lifts me off the ground as he spins around and sits me up on the sink. My head throbs again, and I think I'm about to fall, but he holds on to me before he begins digging his muzzle into my neck, kissing and licking. I gasp and hug around his body, pulling him closer as he licks and nips. Leaning my throat back, I expose more of my neck to him, closing my eyes as the back of my head presses against the mirror. Leo growls, his paws sliding under my shirt, feeling up my stomach before moving to my chest.
Fucking hell.
He moans it, sounding like he just scratched an unreachable itch. Like he just had his first drink of water in days.
Leo.
I gasp, about to tell him to stop, but then his tongue burrows in past my fur to lick the skin, and my eyes roll. He pulls back, finally, and I lower my gaze to meet his. His tongue is hanging out, making him look a little goofy. I can see a few of my short brown hairs in his tongue. He starts to lean in again, and this time I don't turn my head away. As he almost reaches me, his eyes suddenly flick to the right, looking over my shoulder, and I see shock cross his expression. He then jumps and spins around, knocking over the soap dispenser and the first aid kit. I jump too.
What?
Leo continues to stare, one paw clutching his chest, the other digging into my thigh.
I
I wait for him to finish, but he doesn't go on.
Did you see something?
thought I did. Just seeing things, I guess.
Finally, he turns his attention to the first aid kit and leans over, starting to pick everything back up. Slowly, I slide down from the sink, pushing my shirt back into place, realizing that the moment had passed. While I'm curious as to what he saw, I'm mainly conscious of the fact that a break in our intimacy has made things awkward again.
Should we check the house? Could be clean.
No, wasn't cleaned.
Leo grabs his shirt and pulls it back on before turning to me.
Just seeing things.
I think back to Clint.
Oh, all right.
As we leave the bathroom, Clint looks back in
Clint?
for a moment before flipping off the lights. I think it's a little strange that he makes sure to close the door. Leo doesn't make a move on me again that night, instead keeping a good few inches between us on the bed. Can't help but wonder if I did something wrong. What I do know is that I'm kind of disappointed.
We made it through another day, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We made it through hump day,
Now we
even
just
though
hear,
there was no humping.
"Yay!" As we go to the next night.
Bathroom.
Alright, guys, go use the restroom.
Yeah, I'm gonna put on the break. We'll be back.
After these messages. Bam.
So now that we're on break, this is like the longest night. It's like 2 to 3 hours long, and it's already almost 5. Did we want to stop this, or did we want to try to